So then, qualifying 2 for the International GT Open here at Spa-Francorchamps. We've had the drivers, or the other drivers, driver 1, out earlier on today. It's now time for drivers number 2 to do their thing out on circuit, and the average time across the car, across the 2 drivers, will determine our grid for the qualifying, or for the 2-hour, 20-minute race that we have tomorrow. A special endurance race format here in International GT Open this weekend at Spa, bringing new challenges and a slightly different qualifying to us here this weekend. Here is one of the drivers who'll be keen to try and match up to their pro. It was, of course, Adam Christodoulou at the wheel of the 18 FIBA Motorsport car earlier. Now it's Rima Jafali at the wheel. Here's a car that could be a contender for pole position. Jordan Love put in a solid performance in the earlier quali, and now it's going to be the experienced Frank Bird at the wheel of the number 4 car. He runs in pretty much every GT3 championship out there, to be honest with you, and he certainly knows his way around this Mercedes AMG GT3 that he's racing for Haupt Racing Team this weekend. I reckon that Bilstein liveried car could be a favourite, but it is going to be very difficult to call with this average lap time situation. A particularly potent lap time from a Pro-Am driver could really disrupt things at the top of the order. Let's wait and see what happens here. But George, who are your favourites?
Well, I tell you what, we've got so many to look at. I mean, we've got the likes of Moritz Kranz now stepping in. Of course, Janine Schaffner was representing Get Speed in the first stint for their car, and now Moritz Kranz is taking the wheel there. Rima Jafali, of course, in the car, as you said earlier on, with Adam Christodoulou taking the first qualifying session that we had. Of course, this session and that session, the times are going to be averaged out. So it's not necessarily who got pole or who got P1 in the first qualifying session that will get pole. It is going to be an average across 2 sessions, ladies and gentlemen. So keep your eyes peeled. This one is going to be sensational. 2 drivers are going to decide who's on top. And naturally now, with Joe Osborne stepping in for Nick Moss, the McLaren team that certainly came off the back of a successful visit at Paul Ricard, looking to try and do the same this weekend here, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many teams here that have had great success in GT Open previously at Spa. I'd say that McLaren you just alluded to, the number 72 Optimum Motorsport team, firmly one of them. Joe Osborne, Nick Moss. Joe, certainly one of the favourites to be fastest within this session. The question is, can he be quick enough to get onto the first 2 rows along with Nick Moss? Certainly the pairing have been very sharp all season long. They are our championship leaders at this stage in the season. Here's Frank Bird then in that famous Bilstein colour scheme, albeit they've gone for a more camo look there. It's rather a cool looking beast, that. There is the 55 car. That's now being driven by Jamie Stanley. Laurent Demers, who's here at his home race, was in the car earlier on. And Jamie Stanley now runs the car, and we saw Jamie up in, I think, the top 5, top 6 in qualifying at Paul Ricard last time. We know what the Brit is capable of.
Yeah, very, very smart driver indeed, and taking this AF course Ferrari right up through Kemmel, and very soon into the Laycombe section of the circuit, turns 5 and 6. That is what present themselves to Jamie Stanley for the start. Now Moritz Kranz has already initialised a purple sector 2 as such at this moment in time. It's gone a little bit quicker than Joe Osborne, who has registered a slightly slower, well, I say slightly slower, it's approximately a second difference at that point. Rima Jafali also making her way through the second sector, and has got the third one to take as well. They've got to take through corners such as Blanchimont, and obviously then the bus stop chicane making up the rest of that track. But here comes Jamie Stanley, now making his way through this next part of the circuit, through Pouon, and he'll take this dynamic left-handing swooping bend. Low! Wowee! Just caught, I think, a little bit of traction loss, managed to save the car. All I can tell you what, it's better staying on the tarmac than in that gravel trap. That could have ended terribly for him, but well recovered there from Jamie Stanley.
Really pushing the limits at Pouon there. Rear end just let go, asked a bit too much of the rear Michelins. And well, that was a lucky save indeed, as you alluded to. 33 car just behind Jamie Stanley on circuit. That's now Florian Scholze at the wheel of the 33 car. Paired on this occasion, of course, with Alain Valente. And here's a look at the 55. Jamie Stanley there, just getting a snap of oversteer as he was already over the curbs at Pouon. And, well, as you said, he was very lucky to avoid the gravel there. Rima Jafali running a bit too wide in the bus stop chicane, ends up bailing on the circuit itself, taking the Lewis Hamilton circa 2008 line, which doesn't always go well in racing situations, for those of you with longer memories. The 55 car across the line then, of course, won't be a particularly hot lap for Jamie Stanley, given the moment we saw for him. But Florian Scholze there at the wheel of the 33 car. What kind of time did he put in? It was a 2:21.651 for Florian on that occasion. Fastest time so far, though, belongs to Moritz Kranz, a 2:19.397, the early benchmark.
Yeah, Carol Bash going quick too, currently sat in P13 on the classification, but he's gone purple in the first two sectors, so showing some good pace here at this moment in time. Of course, has already notched together a pole position this season as well, so he's well versed to racing and certainly no less quick. I tell you, we've seen plenty more from him. He's just had his first purple sector though, taken off him by Jamie Stanley, who we were watching earlier on as well, as Carol Bash, who currently now sits on pole position, or certainly in that P1 spot, fastest of all in this session. So he's managed to certainly cultivate himself a top billing order. Glenn Van Berlo moves swiftly into second fastest as well, with Moritz Kranz now in third, Charles Hollings in fourth place as well, with Sebastian Bow in P5, Rima Jafali 6. Murat Çağrıoğlu currently sits in seventh. Remember, it was his colleague and teammate, of course, that got that fastest time of all in our first session, our very first session, and they'll be looking to go quick again. David Fuminelli doing the business in Q1, Adam.
Yeah, interesting there that Çağrıoğlu has taken over that car that was fastest earlier on. Of course, it is a Pro-Am car. I don't think Murat would be quick to correct me if I said that he was the Am of that Pro-Am outfit. However, Carol Bash, his time just got deleted. That fastest lap that we saw, a 2:17.674, deleted for track limits at turn 4. That's Eau Rouge Rapion, is it not? Yes, it is. So that's not good for Carol Bash. However, he's half a second purple in the first sector. Carol Bash pressing on then. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if this is both a legal lap and a quick one. Leonardo Polcini, a 2:18.088, goes fastest off camera for the time being in the 63 Oregon Team Lamborghini, but we keep our eyes peeled on Carol Bash. Incidentally, Murat Çağrıoğlu, of course, it was 2 minutes 17 for Fuminelli earlier on, 2:17.1. His current fastest time is a 2:23.9 for Çağrıoğlu. That would make an average time of a 2:20.25, which isn't likely to be a sharp end contendership at the moment, but of course that is a Pro-Am entry. Carol Bash continues to press on. I thought he was a bit slow in the middle sector, and sure enough, that was the case. I think he just kind of lifted out of it there. Let's see then whether he goes on another push lap.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to wait and see whether he dives into the pit lane or heads around the bus stop chicane and actually presents himself with another opportunity at a fastest lap, as he now makes his way up towards the line, heading down through towards the source, and currently P9 on the billing right now. Still holds that purple first sector though, 39.179 in that initial sector. Glenn Van Berlo has registered the fastest sector 3. It's currently in Oregon, P1 and 2 currently in the standings right now. Polcini in first with Van Berlo in second, and we can see now, well, the car, Glenn Van Berlo, this is the Team Oregon Lamborghini. It's currently sat in second fastest right now. Two pros at the top end, with Jamie Stanley in third place as well. So let's see if Glenn Van Berlo can unleash a little bit more pace as he heads out of the Eau Rouge and Rayon section now, up through towards the Kemmel Straight. He's got Laycom coming up next, partnering Kevin Gillardoni, who was representing this team in our first session. as makes his way through this very tricky part of the circuit. You've got to take great care as Rebs takes a lot of the curb there, a little twitch as well, swift little bit of oversteer, managed to correct it as we now have this stunning sky view of the cars making their way down through towards turn 8. Earl Bamber, the man who's stepping in for this race for Singer Racing Team this weekend, has just notched himself first fastest with a 2:17.902. Welcome to GTOpen, Earl Bamber.
Earl Bamber running the Singer Racing Team TP12 car, which is run by Earl Bamber Motorsport. It's a technical partnership with his team, and Earl Bamber wasn't set to be driving this weekend, but last-minute changes means that he is partnering PT Biron Bhakti. And let's see what Earl can do. Certainly he's the top of the order at the moment. 2:17.902 for the driver who has taken the overall victory at the Le Mans 24 Hours on 2 occasions. Van Berlo in amongst the traffic there. Lots going on in that windscreen. Goodness me. Carol Bash on a good lap as well at the moment. Keep an eye on Carol Bash's split times. He's just moved up, has he? No, he hasn't. Joe Osborne, though, has gone massively fast at 2:17.164 for Joe Osborne. Wow, wow, wow. That is a really good time, about equivalent to what we saw out of Fuminelli in the first session, just a few hundredths off of Fuminelli's pace. Carol Bash with a 2:17.595 meanwhile. So the drivers are starting to wake up and put the fast laps in.
Yeah, you might wonder that Carol Bash might have been slightly hindered in that middle sector with all the traffic in the way, but certainly nonetheless, second fastest Carol Bash. But Joe Osborne lighting things up here. Still plenty of time left, 18 minutes still to go here at Spa, as we're now watching Joe Osborne make his way through this next right now, heading out of Malmedy down through towards the Brushhouse corner. He's already gone purple again in sector 1, so he's looking for yet more time at this point. Of course, like I said earlier on, coming off the back of a wonderful Paul Ricard visit where certainly himself and Nick Moss would go on to win both races in that event. And what a wonderful way to mark your presence in this championship. They had a good run at Estoril, not quite able to typify Team Oregon that day. Of course, Leonardo Polcini and Ben Jahites managing to take the 2 wins on that occasion, but it was very much Optimum Motorsport who turned it right around on that occasion. And they're coming here and showing some serious pace, because Nick Moss in our Q1 session was relatively quick too. He was right up in the order too, Adam.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Not only is Joe Osborne currently top of this session, but this car currently comfortably with the fastest of the average times. The average times across the 2 sessions, therefore the time of Q1 and Q2 will kind of combine into an average lap time, and that's how the grid will be determined for this one. Osborne's pace matched with Nick Moss's pace puts him comfortably at the top right now. The average time between the two of them currently a 2:17.677. Which is a very quick time that we've seen very few people even match in terms of 1 lap, much less as an average. I believe this is currently the only car with an average time under that 2:18 barrier. Here comes Osborne then. He was still looking quick in the second sector, and he's gone quicker still. A 2:17.119 puts him ever so slightly faster, and also puts the car faster too. Great driving. I will say, just in terms of Nick Moss's times, it was a 2:18.191 earlier for the bronze-rated driver who liked to scrap in pro. That's Nick Moss, and well, showing his pace and class that he's able to be almost within a second of Joe Osborne, who is, as I said to you just before we went live, I think Joe Osborne has probably done more laps in a McLaren race car than anyone in any discipline over the last 3 to 5 years. If you can match or be close to Joe Osborne's pace at the wheel of a 720S GT3, you're clearly doing a few things right. Earl Bamber out of the second sector now with a personal best second split, 3/10 currently off the pace of Joe Osborne. But if he does continue to have a good lap here, this could well put him second in the times for this session.
Yeah, Carol Bash still currently in second place, but will he be usurped? That is the question. He's just gone through the first sector now. He's in the second sector as things stand. Here comes Earl Bamber, the front end of that car certainly making its way, poleaxing through the bus stop chicane, heading out to the final corner at turn 19. He'll come up towards the line. Can he get into that second spot? Let's wait and see. As he heads towards the line, he does go second fastest with a 2:17.584, so a good display there from Earl Bamber to find that modest improvement to make his way into second place with Karol Bash now in third in this classification. Leonardo Polcini now down into fourth. He's currently in pit road with Frank Bird in fifth spot. So we're all underway and cracking. Certainly Joe Osborne purple at this moment in time, and has got a very, very healthy advantage too, within half a second of Earl Bamber, that's for sure. Well, Earl Bamber within half a second of Joe Osborne, should I say, but still a very healthy gap at this point, Adam.
Absolutely, yes. Just to say then, Earl Bamber there with that 2:17.584. Earlier in qualifying one, it was, of course, the Thai driver Peter Biran-Bakdi at the wheel of the Singho Racing Team Porsche. He set a 2:20.533 in that session. Averages out to a 2:19.058 at the moment if all things were to stop now. I don't think that would make them the top Pro-Am. I believe the average for Jafali and Christodoulou in the FIBA car would be slightly better at the moment, but Earl Bamber might have something more to give.
Yeah, he might do. We've just got plenty of time left in the session. The track will certainly get warmer as time goes on, but still nothing can catch Joe Osborne's time right now. He's still got a very healthy advantage, but can Earl Bamber make a statement? He lost a lot of time in the first sector, so this might be the case that he's just teeing up yet another lap, or he might come in to the pit lane maybe to readdress a few things, make some changes perhaps, as he now makes his way down through towards the next right-hander. But he does lead the Pro-Am contingent in this session right now. Karol Bash in third behind him, and then you've got Moritz Kranz in 8th place, of course, taking his stint. Of course, it was Janine Schaffner in our first session of qualifying here at Spa, and she registered the times for Get Speed. We've got plenty of others looking to try and get into the fight. Dino Steiner currently down in 13th place right now. I would say, well, guess again, I believe he might have just moved slightly. No, 14th place as things stand. And Aus Motorsport certainly representing hard this weekend. Looking forward to a wonderful weekend here at Spa with the sun shining. And the conditions have been very warm indeed. There is Joe Osborne's McLaren. Sat there on the grid. He can be, or certainly feel, very content with how it's gone so far.
Yes, he can. Currently, as it stands, would be the pole sitter, provisionally at least, with the average times in play. I believe second fastest of the combined times at the moment would be the 63 Polcini Hites Lamborghini. The 63 car currently fourth in the standings within this session. Polcini setting a 2:18.088, a 2:18.159 earlier for Hites. So very strong across the board. Average 2:18.123. I believe that's currently the second strongest average out there after the Osborne-Moss duo.
Yeah, absolutely. The team's now getting into the garage just for a quick chat.
Yep. That's Earl Bamber.
Yeah, indeed. Just having a little bit of a word. Maybe looking to go out. Well, they certainly will look to go out again. We've still got another 11 and a bit minutes still to go. In fact, more than 11 and a bit. It's 11:40, folks, as we're now watching the cars make their way around Pouhon. And certainly, this car will be looking to make a difference. Stephen Earl, welcome back to the track for GTOpen, sir. It's always a pleasure to see Stephen Earl here at GTOpen, of course. And a wonderful figure in the pit lane, charismatic figure as well. And I have to say, you know, Spa-Francorchamps, never a better place to certainly send your car than a track here at Belgium, that's for sure. As they know, around the next right-hander, and that Kessel Racing Ferrari will be making its way around the next right-hander before Blanchimont coming up very, very soon after turn 16. And then it's off to the very hard-braking section of the bus stop, which is very, very sharp. I mean, we saw it earlier on, Adam, yesterday, and it looked exceptionally tight. You know, it takes a lot for these guys to muscle a car like this around a very tight section such as that.
Yeah, absolutely it does. Stephen Earl, hugely experienced here at Spa, it must be said. He knows the challenges of this circuit. Has raced at the Spa 24 Hours numerous times, I believe pre and post configuration after the 2006 season. I think he did a Spa 24 around 2003 or so. Hugely experienced driver is Stephen Earl. He's just improved to 2:23.155, puts him to 15th. It's good to see that Stephen's got some pace here up against some of his fellow AM drivers. seconds. He was a little bit off the pace last time at Paul Ricard, but he's right back up there to the kind of comparative speed we expect of him, up there amongst the front runners of the AM drivers. Jamie Stanley, he's an AM driver, technically, along with Laurent Demirs. Jamie very much the driver coach, though, of Laurent. He's a championship winner in the UK, but their comparative pace means he is down in the AM category. Oh, I think he slightly overshot the bus stop there. I was about to say that the first two sectors looked promising, but I think that bus stop chicane was less than. There you go, another half second taken out of the time in that last sector alone, and that was all the bus stop there. Just kind of missed the apex a bit too late on the brakes in the first element. Was a bit squirrely through the second part as well, and testing the limits of the runoff there at La Source, which has got a lot smaller since last time we were here in 2021. That Jamie Stanley remains 7th overall at the moment, currently the fastest of the AM runners. Yeah,
Moritz Cranton's also looking to make some modest improvements too, currently sat in 8th place. Jamie Stanley currently sits in 7th, as we now watch the Axiom Space Get Speed car make its way through this next left-hander. It's very galactical purple livery that we get to see.
Is that a word?
I've made it a word.
Wow.
As now we're seeing Moritz Krantz make his way into the final chicane, but wonderful indeed to see these guys out and about. Moritz Krantz, he himself a very potent figure in racing as he now makes his way up towards the line, and will he look to improve even further? Does certainly improve. 4th fastest there for Moritz Krantz, so green in all 3 sectors as far as he's concerned. Made some good gains in sector 3, so I'd imagine that Janine Schaffner will be delighted to see her teammate managed to claw that time up there. Currently 3rd in terms of the Pro-Am category in this session, just behind Carol Bash, approximately 3/10 between the two. So well done, Moritz. He's into 4th.
Moritz Krantz there with a good showing indeed at 2:17.903 for Moritz Krantz, of course, sharing with Janine Schaffner. Janine, who set a 21.172 earlier on. I haven't done the exact calculations on this one yet, but that will put them somewhere into that kind of mid 2:19 average, which I think is where the first of the, or the faster of the Pro-Ams will be. Maybe some of them into the 2:18 average if they've got a particularly good lap time under their belts. But Moritz Krantz working hard in the Get Speed number 9 car, the Axiom Space liveried machine. That, of course, is the pet project of Janine Schaffner's husband, John, who is going to be a spaceman before the end of the year. Fabulous stuff for John Schaffner, such a eccentric and popular couple in the motorsport world. Raced for many years together at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and now Moritz Krantz and Janine working on a full campaign here in the International GTOpen. Here is the number 19 Lamborghini of Glenn Van Berlo, currently 7th fastest, but a purple 2nd sector for Van Berlo. This time is going to be a huge improvement if he can nail the final couple of corners. Would put him well into the 2:17s. Let's see what Glenn Van Berlo can do. 6 minutes and 45 of the session left to go. He's got other opportunities, but he's going to want to take the one he's got presented to him at the moment. He's had to fight the car a little bit out of the bus stop. Comes out of the final corner to 2:17.534. Glenn Van Berlo goes 2nd quickest within this session.
Yeah, Glenn Van Berlo will be delighted with that effort indeed. Just resting a time just over 4/10 of a second slower than Joe Osborne, but nonetheless he'd be delighted. I spoke to him at Paul Ricard. He was intent on bringing race wins to the table for Team Oregon, and certainly the Lamborghini team, that's for sure. Glenn Van Berlo making a statement here again, front row in terms of this current session. Obviously we'll have to look at the averages as they come in, folks. Joe Osborne still on top here in this classification. Glenn Van Berlo in 2nd. Earl Bamber currently sits 3rd fastest at this moment in time, and already Glenn Van Berlo looking to go out again here. Still though in the 1st sector, approximately 3/10 of Joe Osborne's current pace. Runs over the curb a little bit as well as he makes his way out of Malmedy in towards the Bruxelles corner, and he'll try and get in tight at this point as well. But what a moment indeed. Glenn Van Berlo 2nd fastest, just in behind Joe Osborne.
Per the average calculations that I've got in front of me, that time from Van Berlo, who just kicked up a bit of grass and gravel going through the former speaker's corner, now known as Jackie X curve, and that lap has been firmly abandoned after a poor first sector and now an off-track moment. But I believe that time from Van Berlo will have just about pipped the other Oregon team Lamborghini. The average with that 217.534 for Van Berlo puts the average for the car to a 218.051. The average for the 63 Lamborghini, the Hites Pulcini machine, is a 218.123. So a few hundreds in it now between the two of them in terms of average time. As of now, your front row of the grid on the average times provisionally would be Joe Osborne and Nick Moss pole, and this number 19 car starting alongside.
Well, of course, coming into the weekend, it is in fact Glenn Van Berlo and Kevin Ghilardoni's Oregon car that currently sits higher than Leonardo Pulcini and, of course, Ben Jahites as well in the championship standings, because obviously after Paul Ricard, they were slightly better off in terms of results heading out of France. You know, they didn't have the results they may have wanted, but at the same time, they are currently in P2 as far as the classifications are concerned in the championship. So credit for them on all their hard work and effort. And Glenn Van Berlo once again doing it here at Spa-Francorchamps, second fastest in this session, and might yet go faster than their team again, their fellow team, should I say, as we're now seeing them make his way up through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. And Glenn Van Berlo again will try and correct the error that, of course, was mitigated heading out of turn 9. Of course, the Jackie X corner, as christened from 2018 onwards, formerly known as Speakers, still referenced as Speakers in many cases, as we now see Jamie Stanley. Oh, he is certainly sending it. You went purple in the first sector. Oh, a little twitchy, Adam.
Well, he was very, very far off the circuit there coming into Pouon. I would wonder if that time would stand if it's still a good lap, because he was well off the track there for a moment. But Stanley's clearly pushing, and well, clearly pushing maybe a bit too far. Stanley feels he's got a good car underneath him. He wants to take advantage of it. He's only got 3 minutes left to do so. He should get to the start-finish line again in time to do 2 more flying laps, and Stanley's going to need to sew together a quick 3 sectors, a trouble 3 sectors before the end of this one, and that's a slightly wide line through Blanchimont as well.
It is, absolutely. He's going to have to try and tee up yet another run. I mean, obviously 2.45 currently still remaining here in this session. The AF Corsa car now gets primed and ready, the Ferrari heading through the final 2 bends, and we'll just take a look at the instant replay as we now head through this next right-hander. You can just see him heading. Oh yeah, rubbed a lot of the gravel the wrong way. It looked like the car was twitching a lot heading in through that middle sector. And once again, he'll look to go though, certainly unfazed, unchecked right now, heading through La Source. And now Jamie Stanley is going to look to send it once again, heading up through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. 2 minutes to go here, and it's Joe Osborne currently fastest in this session. Glenn Van Berlo in second. Earl Bamber currently sits third and quickest of the Pro-Am drivers in that 3rd place position, with Carol Bashing behind, with Moritz Kranz in 5th here, Adam.
Yeah, certainly interesting stuff. They've said to Joe Osborne, you know what, mate, I think you've probably done enough. Fingers crossed. As of now, he will have done enough. He's been sat there in the car for a little while. He's clearly been told, nope, stand down. No one's beating a 217.1. No one is beating a 217.655 average. But they could be wrong. Let's wait and see. A minute and a half left to go. Jamie Stanley once again pushing, only 300ths of a second off the best first sector in sector 1. Of course, that is the run from the start-finish line to Le Combe. Let's see how this second sector goes. It's been the second sector where he's struggled so far. Was right on the limit there coming out of X curve. Let's see what happens here at Pouon. He's had a couple of moments here. Nice, clean, sweeping run through there. Does he keep the car on track coming out of the turn? Just about. Stanley pressing on through towards Fagnes now. And let's see what this second sector looks like. When all is said and done, the 55 AF Corsa Ferrari AF Corsa, don't need to tell you about their pedigree as a team running Ferraris. They've been here since the beginning as well, with some on and off periods as Jamie Stanley continues to fight the car. They were there in 2006 in the first season of GTOpen, and Jamie Stanley is there right on the limit in the 488 GT3 car. The number 55 Ferrari is being pushed hard here. Let's see what Stanley can do as he approaches the final couple of corners.
He does. He's coming out towards bus stop. I just want to make you aware as well, Leonardo Polcini, purple sector 2. He is absolutely flying right now. Could we have a clutch finale here at the end of qualifying? Get yourselves ready, folks. This is going to be notorious. Here comes Jamie Stanley through the final chicane. What's he going to register in the final sector? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, lost a little bit in the second sector. He does actually find himself remaining in 8th fastest, but Leonardo Polcini is the one we want to watch. He's coming through the bus stop chicane now. Big moment for Team Oregon. Can they usurp that of Joe Osborne as they head up towards the line? He remains purple in the second sector, comes across the line, purple in sector 3. That is a P1 finale here in this session of qualifying. Polcini goes quickest, sensational by none other than 0.015. Incredible scenes here at Spa-Francorchamps.
And I can confirm that the averages work out in favour of the 63 car.
Sensational.
A 217.104 matched against the 218.159 from Benjahites earlier on puts them to an average of a 217.655. That's the average for Osborne and Moss, I should say. The average now for Polcini and Hites is a 217.631. So as it stands, by just over 200ths of a second, the Lamborghini 63 crew will be on provisional pole.
Yeah, they were in the top 5, though it was in 5th place that the car stood. They had yet to break into the top 3, but Polcini, at the very last gasp of qualifying, managing to usurp that of Joe Osborne to take that first place position in this session, and as a result, also effectively pole position as per the current averages. As now Sebastian Boe comes across the line, where does he finish? He's still currently 10th fastest and will remain 10th fastest. There's Rima Jafali just checking the car. Obviously, they had a couple of moments, or one moment down the bus stop where she had to leap over the curb, so just making sure everything's okay. But certainly, what a session. An incredible moment here at Spa. Polcini for Team Oregon. He is on top here in this session, and also as a result, surely, not confirmed, but they are on pole.
Provisionally at least, they will be at the sharp end. That was a sensational final lap. Polcini hasn't really shown all of his hand so far when it comes to qualifying pace. He's always been in the top 5, top 6. He's not got to the very sharp end, but on this occasion, Leonardo Polcini pulled a rabbit out of the hat and a free get out of jail card as well. They've managed to move themselves to the head of the standings in this session, qualifying 2 with that 217.104, just a couple of, well, not even 200ths of a second clear of Joe Osborne's fastest time. And per the maths and per the average calculators that I've got in front of me, it will be also about 200ths of a second between the two cars on average lap times. I really like this average format. It's difficult for me, I must say. I've got a lot of stuff going on in front of me at the moment. But there you see both drivers contributing to the grid position. And from what we can see, the Polcini Hites number 63 Oregon Lamborghini will be, at least provisionally, on our pole position for the 2-hour 20-minute endurance race that we'll have here tomorrow.
What a finale in qualifying there, Adam. I mean, that is exactly what we're looking for. Polcini on top order, Joe Osborne second, Glenn Van Berlo in third, and then of course Earl Bamber finishing in 4th in the session, Carol Bash 5th, Moritz Kranz in 6th, Frank Bird on his return to GTOpen with Jamie Stanley, Adam Osaka and Sebastian Boe the top 10. Looking forward to the race. I'm sure you'll join us later on.